What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I just watched the Brandon Rios, Manny Pacquiao in Macau, China. They have a presser. The Mexican-Russian has a fight, and that's also taking place in China. Zhao Shiming is also fighting tomorrow, and they did a Pacquiao and Rios presser in conjunction with this, since both fights are taking place in Macau, China. Pacquiao and Rios, as well as Zhao Shiming's second pro fight. I must say, I'm definitely looking forward to this fight. There's no denying that it's not the number one fight I'm anticipating. However, it's a fight I really want to see. I mean, that's all there is to it. You have Pacquiao coming off a devastating loss, and Brandon Rios coming off a loss against the opponent he fought, Mike Alvarado. Different type of loss. His fight went the distance. It appeared he had got hurt after hurting Alvarado early in the fight, and he's moving up in weight. So very intriguing fight based on the timing. I made a previous video, and it's funny when you deal with certain fighters. Pacquiao is definitely one of them. You have radical extremist fans on one side or the other, and with Pacquiao, it without fail, like, I won't hear anything about Pacquiao. I make a video, state my honest opinion, and I get called, "Oh, you just hate Filipinos," or "You hate Pacquiao, you never say anything good." Now, I gotta let you guys know, if you come on my channel, I'm giving you my honest opinion. It's not biased or because I hate Pacquiao. I don't know the dude. I don't care about the dude. I mean, I don't care about a lot of these fighters, to be honest, in terms of what they do in their professional, or excuse me, in their personal life. I really could care less. I like boxing as a sport, and different people have different abilities. Do I like a slugfest? Yes. But I also appreciate the other end of the spectrum, which is a masterful boxer as well. So I just like the sport and everything that comes with it and all the different styles. And when I speak on Pacquiao, I'm speaking from what I've seen and actual factual information. Now, if I had my channel established maybe 3 years ago, when Pacquiao was still on his win streak, you may hear me talk differently about Pacquiao. But that's not the case. And the fact of the matter is, Pacquiao looks like he's on the decline. He hasn't had a knockout since 2009 with Miguel Cotto. He didn't look great against Shane Mosley. He had Mosley hurt in the third round. Couldn't finish him off. He had a tough time with Timothy Bradley. He didn't even look like he was in great shape. Like, normally Pacquiao comes in, he's ripped and he's shredded, very vascular. In the Bradley fight, he didn't even look like he was in that great of shape. He was fighting in spurts towards the end of the round. Bradley caused him to miss a lot. He had a tough fight with Marquez in the third fight. I thought Marquez should have won that. A lot of people, Roy Jones Jr., Abner Mares, a lot of people thought Marquez won as well as myself. And then he fought Marquez again. He said he didn't want to fight Bradley. I have nothing to prove. And then he had nothing to prove, and then Marquez knocked him out. So obviously Marquez had something to prove. And that's pretty much the timeline of recent Pacquiao. So when I speak on Pacquiao, I'm speaking based on all things considered. Now, when you guys speak on Pacquiao, it's like you're trying to relive the glory days and reminisce on when Pacquiao was still on a win streak. Fact of the matter is, Pacquiao's career is teetering on for dear life. If he loses, like gets knocked out, it's a wrap. If he wins, but it's not a strong win, his career is still in danger, in my honest opinion. I did a video called Ego's The Crossroads. Check it out. I speak on that a little bit in detail. And that's really what it is. If Brandon Rios gets knocked out by Pacquiao, it's to be expected. Stylistically, Pacquiao has the goods and the tools to beat him. But Brandon Rios will still have a career even if he gets knocked out, in my opinion, because that'll be 2 losses. But his last fight to Alvarado was nowhere near as detrimental as Pacquiao's loss to Marquez for the 4th time, for multiple reasons. Pacquiao fought Marquez 3 times. Every single time it was a tough fight. Whether you thought Pacquiao won or Marquez won, it was a tough fight. He said I got to get more aggressive, and he said he was going to knock Marquez out. And the complete opposite happened. And he was definitely giving Marquez problems. Marquez had the first knockdown, then Pacquiao knocked Marquez down. Rounds 5 and 6, Pacquiao was very focused, and it looked like he was going to stop Marquez. and he got careless, he got reckless, and then he got caught and knocked out. So, despite if Pacquiao, if you feel he was winning or ahead on the scorecard, it does not matter. In the sport of boxing, it's where you are at the finish. It doesn't really matter if Amir Khan was looking good for 2 rounds. If Danny Garcia knocks him out by the fourth round, knocks him down in the third round, who the fuck cares? What does that matter if you're getting beat up? That's like Sergio Martinez. He almost let his beautiful boxing go to waste because he tried to get too cocky, and Chavez Jr. caught him in the 12th round, and he almost didn't make it out of that round. So if Chavez were able to beat him, then it really doesn't matter what Sergio did for 11 rounds. Same thing with Chavez Sr. and Mildred Taylor. Mildred Taylor was winning the fight. All he had to do was hold on, but he didn't, despite if you think it was a premature stoppage or whatever. I mean, everything he did was pretty much out the window because he lost. Same thing with Pacquiao. Even if you gave him every single round, which I can't even understand why you would make that argument, he got knocked out. He was knocked out cold. So you lose the end. If he could have looked great, but he still got knocked out. And that's what some people, I don't know if you just don't like the words and you never thought it would happen, but that's a fact. And that's what I give you on my channel. This is my honest opinion. I don't have anything against Pacquiao. I'm not mad at Pacquiao. I love lumpia. I love Filipino people. Like, it has nothing to do with anybody personally. But facts are facts are facts. And Pacquiao does have to redeem himself from a devastating knockout. Now look at Brandon Rios. He lost his fight as well. However, he fought Alvarado one time, and it was a war. So we kind of expected the second to be a war. He had Alvarado hurt in the second round, I believe it was, and he just couldn't close the distance, close the gap. And Rios used a lot of footwork and kept Alvarado used a lot of footwork, kept Rios off balance and kind of having to track him down, and he just couldn't do it and finish his man. But it went the distance. And if you watch after the Alvarado Rios rematch, Alvarado was talking, and then Rios goes on the mic and tastefully, or distastefully, I should say, he starts talking over Mike Alvarado and stealing the mic. He was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm ready to. I'm not tired. I'm ready to go 15 rounds." This is what Pacquiao's getting himself into. He lost. You didn't see Pacquiao at the end of Marquez 4 talking about, "I'm ready to go 15, 20 rounds. Fuck yeah, let's do a rematch right now." You didn't see it because he got knocked the fuck out. Those are two different losses. And like I said, I can't help it if people don't want to hear the truth, but that's what we're dealing with. Now back to this fight, Manny Pacquiao versus Brandon Rios. I've said it time and time again. People don't want to, it's like you guys have selective hearing. You hear what you want to hear. On paper, Pacquiao should run through that's my next point. On paper, Pacquiao should run through Rios based on the contrast of styles. I keep hearing the same comparison. Rios is going to be Margarito too. It's perfectly possible. However, before you're so quick to state that, you got to consider that Margarito and Rios are at two different points of their career. Margarito was over 30 when he fought Manny Pacquiao. Margarito, I believe, got his ass beat by Shane Mosley in 2009. He had one soft touch fight against Roberto Garcia, and then his next fight was the Manny Pacquiao fight, when Pacquiao didn't look as bad at that particular time in 2010, and he got his ass beat. But Shane Mosley beat his ass a little over a year before Manny Pacquiao did. That hasn't happened to Brandon Rios. Have I seen Rios hurt? Sure. It is a new venture for him because Rios is going up in weight class, so we don't know. But like I said before, it could help him because he's a fighter who's continually struggled to make some of the lower weights. So it might actually help. And if you look at these pictures in the stare down, Rios looks considerably bigger than Pacquiao. Like in terms of height, Pacquiao is not a huge welterweight. Again, where Pacquiao excels is his ability to move. He has power. He's a southpaw, and he has speed. Those are Pacquiao's strongest. Those are his strongest suits, his strongest points. And Pacquiao, I've said this time and time again, he is a fighter that relies heavily on athleticism. The problem with athletic fighters is if you don't have great boxing intangibles in terms of like technical ability, ring generalship, ring IQ, and smarts, your career usually doesn't last as long. Look at the Roy Jones Juniors. When Roy Jones was on top, he was on top. Pacquiao, when he was on top, he was on top. Sergio Martinez, when he was on top, he was on top. However, look at Sergio Martinez's last fight as he gets older against Martin Murray. He didn't look great. I don't even think he won that fight. Look at Roy Jones Jr. currently. It's not the same Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr., I think he would have ran through Joe Calzaghe in his prime. But that's not what happened when he fought at the time they fought. It's a different Roy Jones Jr. Again, these fighters that rely on athleticism, that's part of their strength. So it's like if you take that away, that's almost like giving Superman like kryptonite. Pacquiao needs speed. He needs the ability to overwhelm his opponents with flurries, with footwork, with his power. So if anything diminishes, then he's no longer the same Pacquiao. And that's what people are failing to realize. If his speed is remotely slower, like if it slows down just a hair, he might not be able to duplicate what he did to, let's say, a David Diaz, because just being a hair slower might make it easier for his opponent to counter. Like, I'm sure Marquez in the lower weights when he fought Pacquiao probably had a hard time adjusting to the speed because Pacquiao was fucking fast. He was lightning fast. Now, if you watch the third and fourth fight, Pacquiao doesn't look as fast as he did at one time. Could be under training, could be him drinking, could be age. It could be a lot of things. Just the accumulation of fights and punishment that Pacquiao has taken. Pacquiao has a hell of a chin, without a doubt. But that stuff catches up to you. And again, some Pacquiao fans don't want to hear it. They think I'm bashing Pacquiao. But everything I'm saying is factual. And I'm supporting it. I'm telling you exactly why I feel the way I feel. It has nothing to do with Pacquiao. It has nothing to do with being mad at him. He has a great shot to beat Rios. But if he has lost a step, he's in trouble. Point blank. If he lost a step, if he lost speed, if his chin is shakier than it's been before, if he doesn't have as much crack on his punches from getting knocked out, he's in trouble because Brandon Rios is younger. He's a pressure fighter. He's a fighter who, again, judging by how he reacted on his first ever loss to Mike Alvarado, he was pissed. I mean, dude's competitive. He was like, fuck yeah, I'll go 15 rounds. Da, da, da. Let's have a rematch. I gave you a rematch. Give me a rematch. And he was really amped up. So, again, you got a really competitive person with a chin who might be better at the higher weight classes because it's less dieting and more training. He wants what you have. Pacquiao is a superstar, almost a fading star. And Brandon Rios, this is his first time headlining a pay-per-view. He had a great fight with Mike Alvarado, but guess what? His great fight, the first fight with Mike Alvarado, he didn't even headline. He was the co-feature, and that was on the Nonito versus Nishioka fight. That was the main event. I think it should have been the other way. In hindsight, when you see both of those fights and how they played out, obviously Mike Alvarado and Rios was a far better fight than Nishioka and Nonito, but he wasn't even the headliner. Brandon Rios is not a pay-per-view headliner. He hasn't been to this point. He knows if he defeats Pacquiao, even though Pacquiao lost his last fight, he lost to a fighter who's always given him problems, who had 4 attempts to dethrone him and beat him. So if Brandon Rios can beat him in his first ever attempt, that's saying a lot. Because, I mean, that's like taking a test. Marquez had 4 times to take the test, and then he passed on the 4th time. So if Rios can take the test once and crack away at Pacquiao and find a way to stop him, I mean, the sky's the limit for his career, honestly. So Brandon Rios knows what's at stake. Pacquiao knows what's at stake. So hopefully we see the best version of both fighters. But just judging by the stare down, I don't think it's as easy and as one-sided as some people are making it out to be. Even let's say Pacquiao destroys Brandon Rios in terms of he just taking several punches and he beats him up. I think Rios at some point, unless he gets stopped, is gonna get off a good shot, and that's just more wear and tear on Pacquiao's body. So I think Pacquiao's gonna win or lose. I think he's gonna take some level of punishment from a fighter like Rios. I really don't. I mean, I could see the Margarito comparisons based on styles. Robert Garcia trained both Brandon Rios and Margarito, but once you actually put things in perspective, very different, very different. And it's mainly because time. Margarito's like 5'11" with a longer reach, so that's one difference from Brandon Rios. I think Brandon Rios is closer to like the 5'8" side. His reach isn't as long. I think Rios is better defensively. They both have a chin. Margarito and Rios have a fucking chin. I think Brandon Rios is a little bit faster. He's not like a Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather with his speed, but I think he's faster than Margarito. Brandon Rios is younger than Margarito was. Brandon Rios also, he has one loss. He has one loss, and that was against Mike Alvarado, another fighter who had one attempt to beat him and got TKO'd, and then had a second chance and went the distance with him. Versus Margarito, who he had been beaten before. He lost to Paul Williams, and a little bit more than a year ago, Shane Mosley tore him out the frame and fucked him up. So he was one fight removed from an ass whooping when he fought Pacquiao. Brandon Rios isn't in the same boat. He didn't get annihilated by Mike Alvarado. I thought Alvarado won, but he didn't just demolish him. It was a very competitive affair. So comparing the Rios and Margarito, I don't think it's wise. I don't think it's the same fight based on all the variables that I mentioned. And I'm sure there's a ton more. I just don't think it's the same fight, especially since Pacquiao is off of a devastating loss. I mean, that's a huge factor you have to incorporate into the equation, because Manny Pacquiao got his lights knocked out. It's a different fight, I'm telling you guys. Arguably, Brandon Rios cuts off the ring better than Margarito. They're both pressure fighters. I don't know. I had to really study tape to determine who's the better pressure fighter. I think Brandon Rios is better on the inside than Margarito. Margarito is a sinister dude with a hell of a chin, and a lot of times he didn't set up a jab like when he was fighting Cotto in the rematch. He was just taking licks, and he kept coming. And it was like he was waiting for Cotto to get tired, and then that's when he was going to finally have his way with Cotto. But unfortunately, the ref stopped the fight based on the eye shit. His eye was all fucked up. Anyway, just look at these pictures. The stare down was good. Another thing, Manny Pacquiao was the first one to break away, and he didn't look that confident. I've seen Pacquiao in stare downs before, and he did not look as confident. Brandon Rios looked pretty statuesque. Pacquiao didn't like flinch or anything, but just the way he cut away first, and I don't know if his confidence is going to be the same. So win or lose, if Brandon Rios loses, I still think Pacquiao is going to have problems. I mean, he's taking on a tough fight, no tune-up fights. So props to Pacquiao for doing that, but I think he has a tough fight, tougher than a lot of people are giving it credit for. I know Rios is a lot more stationary. He takes hits, but timing is everything in the sport of boxing. It really depends on where you're at in your career for both fighters. And with everything considered, I still think the Margarito and Rios comparison, there's more differences than I've noticed similarities in terms of mostly timing. So let me know what you guys think. These are the pictures from the stare down in Macau, China. Pacquiao versus Rios. How does it play out? Leave a comment, let me know. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.